Hi, Kate. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Great. Thanks. Right on time and great to be speaking with you. Savage State is
Yeah.
the movie that we were connected to talk about. And I can never tell when movies were made. When did you actually film and finish wrapping on Savage State?
Oh God. I guess now it's 2 years with COVID. I feel like we've had like a parentheses, a lapse of time where things have ceased to be in the in the dimension we live in. I think it was 2 years ago, November.
Two
That we
years
shot.
ago, November.
Yeah, yeah, because we shot in two parts. So there was like a part that we shot in France, and then they continued shooting, and then I kind of joined up with them again in Canada. So
Wow.
in the end of it was cold in the end of November, I think it was that we finished in
Yeah,
Canada.
nobody ever says Canada. Man, it was too warm there. So I
Yeah,
get that.
I've
And
never felt cold like that before.
I can only imagine. One of the intriguing things to me is that it's a film in more than one language. I'm curious, when you got the script, was it
Mhm.
all written in English and it said parentheses, say this in French, or was it actually also written in French as well?
I mean, everything was in David, the filmmaker, is French, and the whole script was in French. I think that I mean my part was of course always in English. I can't really remember if I mean obviously they translated it themselves, but I had like a few things that I adjusted for more the way I would say it in English. But I think that right from the get go, Betty's part was written in English, but the script itself was in French.
And then was all the communication in one particular language on set, or just people going back and forth?
No, it was in French. It was in French. I'm based in Paris right now, and obviously the all of the other actors were French, and David is French. So it was a French language set, and the Canadian production was based out of Montreal, so everybody also spoke French over there.
Got it. I'm really surprised to hear that because you can never tell with movies, from being an outsider. You have no idea because a lot of the speaking is in English, but it's interesting to me to watch people have to switch between languages.
Yeah.
For you, is it particularly easy to do?
Well, I was born in Massachusetts, and I went to school in New York. So I came to France, and I didn't speak French at all.
Oh,
God, it's about 20 years ago now, I guess. Well, I was still at NYU, and I was doing theater, so I learned by ear to speak French. But now, I mean, it's been so long that I kind of can switch between the two without really thinking about it.
do you have different personalities between speaking French and speaking English? Because that's something I hear for some people that are bilingual.
I think that the the timbre of my voice is a little bit different in French and in English, but my personality, I no, I don't think so. I think I'm crabby in both languages.
Well, you just made a reference to studying at NYU, and nowadays NYU is just one of the most expensive schools on the planet, and it's almost like an Ivy League school in that everyone wants to go there. But there were some years in the 90s when it was cool if you knew the deal as a New Yorker, but it wasn't the coolest school ever. The dorms were not
No.
state of the art or anything like that. When my brother went there in the early and mid 90s, it was kind of like that. So what was it that drew you to NYU?
Yeah, I started there in the late 90s, and I finished in 2000. And I mean, it's funny because I mean, even then it was an expensive school. I mean, I still have loans to have gone there, got a scholarship, and did the whole thing.
Yeah.
But what drew me there was actually Tish has conservatories in the acting program, and one of the studios is called the Experimental Theater Wing, and I specifically went there because of that, and the fact that I liked the idea that it was a 3-day conservatory, and then 2 days a week you had normal academics, and I didn't want to just go to, I'm not a big fan of things like the method where you just sort of go to a school and you just learn acting and then you only do that.
Sure.
I came from Massachusetts, and I wanted also an education. I wanted to know about other things than just, how to audition, I guess. So, and the experimental theater wing was also interesting because they had the basis was like to make a well-rounded performer. So you had writing classes and dance classes and tech classes and all of that, so that you weren't just sort of learning how to be pretty for Hollywood or something.
So you had to learn a bit of everything, master a few things, but learn a little bit of everything, it sounds like.
Yeah, and to sort of pick and choose how you wanted to go about creating. It was more about how to create a piece of work than it was about just one little inserting yourself into it. So that also, I think, makes, as an actor, you more appreciative of everybody's role on set or on stage, so that you don't just sort of rock in and think, well, I'm here, so now it can begin. It takes the whole team to make a project.
And then somebody who looks at your filmography, your IMDb page, knows that Savage Day is not the last thing you made, not the first thing you made. You've not just done film, you've done theater, you've done all sorts of projects. So again, even though we're talking about Savage State, and it sounds like it's your latest project, you mentioned 2 years ago, around then it was made. So what's coming up for you otherwise?
Since then, I actually did a series a French series for Netflix called Vampires, and I played the head of the French syndicate of vampires in in the world, and then that came out actually during confinement or lockdown at the beginning of last year, and now I'm supposed to be heading back to New York to work on a dance piece, but of course that's been postponed because of the restrictions everywhere. So we'll see. But that's with a choreographer named Annie B. Parsons, who she just did a Broadway musical with David Byrne called American Utopia.
Yeah.
The last thing she worked on. So it's her company called Big Dance, their next project, which hopefully we will be once again starting up back up in May.
Hope so as well. Sounds great to me. Have you discovered any new hobbies or passions as a result of, whether you want to call it lockdown, quarantine, whatever you want to call it?
No, I haven't. I guess I've learned patience. It's not something I'm very good at. I have a dance background, and that's sort of, I don't really like to go to a gym or anything, but I do go to dance classes a lot, and that's something I've missed terribly. So I guess just like everybody, it's sort of figuring out how to do the things that you used to take for granted within the confines of your home. I have a space that's nice. We have a little patch of garden in Paris, which is very rare. So
yeah,
I've kind of also been lucky enough to not be as claustrophobic, I think, as I would have been had I been in my apartment in New York, which is much smaller and much more kind of one on top of the other in the building. So
yeah. As somebody in New York, I'm telling you, you're not missing out on that much in New York right now. So lucky for you to be where you are, I would say.
I mean, it's not any better in Paris. I think we're all in the same boat. We're all worried about our fellow actors and performers, musicians, writers, restaurateurs, independent shop owners. I mean, it's pretty scary and bleak out there, but
well, hence why it's great to be talking to you and knowing that you have great movie projects and TV projects and all that in the works, because without the entertainment, where would we all be without those extra wonderful distractions?
I mean, yeah, it's really been great to see that things have, that there is streaming and that things can have a life even with the cinemas closed. But I mean, still, long live the cinema. We need to keep supporting them, and they need to be opened up again soon.
Hope so indeed. Well, I saw on your Instagram a photo of you holding a Johnny Cash album within the last week or so. Is that one of your favorite artists, or is that just hey, this looks cool?
No, it was my birthday. So it was my birthday present. Was an original Johnny Cash at San Quentin record. So that was why I was holding that one up. And it was, January 6th was also the day that we heard about the Senate in Georgia, and so it felt befitting to be listening to a little Johnny Cash on that particular day in Paris.
Well said. His music is still sounding great all these years later. So 2 quick questions, and then you are free for me. The first one is, it's a different kind of thing to ask an actor or an actress or a screenwriter or anything like that what art they actually enjoy, but do you have a TV recommendation that you could pass along for somebody that needs a new show to kind of binge besides vampires?
Oh, can it be something old?
Sure, the more the merrier. I'm asking you about Johnny Cash.
Right now. I'm watching, I mean, I watched it a long time ago, but I realized that I probably started on like halfway through season 2 or something. The Wire is aging very well. So I'm actually been watching that recently, and it's pretty good.
You're enjoying the Sabatka family, I assume at this point in time. Okay, cool. And then my closer, and this could be a joke or it could be a self-plug, whatever you want it to be. It's Kate, any last words for the kids?
For the kids?
For the kids. Because I look at you and I said, well, that's a successful working artist, actress who practiced her craft. So I figured you'd have to know a thing or two that you can impart in a younger person that might be listening, hearing, reading, etc.
Be really happy if you don't peak in high school.
I guess like me, you didn't peak in high school, and the rest is history.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Well, I look forward to that eventual dance piece in May. Hope it happens in May. But thank you so much for your time, and keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Thanks. Take care.
Paltrocast.